About this love. About this. About this love. About this love. Love. How you guys doing today? You rocking with myself, Del Skinner, and my wife, Sherelle. Say what's up to the peoples.
What's up, peoples?
And you are tuning into About This Love podcast. I guess with everything going on with the coronavirus, everyone having to be quarantined for those who live in states where there's a mandatory quarantine. I know ours is not one of them. But before we get into that,
Not yet.
Well, yeah, not yet. But before we get into that, I did want to say, can you guys follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, About This Love, to get all of our content, all of our weekly and or daily content. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I was just thinking about those who are stuck in the house with their spouse. You know, like, what are you guys doing to cope with being in close quarters, being together all the time? I was thinking about the things that you and I were doing. You know, and in a lot of ways, you think that it comes easy just to be intimate with your spouse beyond sex. And it's not that easy. It's like, well, you ain't talking to me. Why are you watching yet another show? You're binge watching, something else, or you're home now. So let's go do something. But we can't go out the house. We can't go anywhere.
I mean, it's interesting because I know I've met people who've said that they travel for work, and then when they come home for whatever reasons, whether it's a new career field or their schedule changes, they normally end up like I don't want to say getting a divorce, but they normally end up in a bad space with their wife. And I think oftentimes what you will find out with people like that is that they were probably doing good or what appeared to be good because they're never around each other anyway. So it was like, oh yeah, we're doing real good, but it's like, yeah, but you guys are never really around each other. So I mean, I guess it could have the appearance of being good, So I mean, I guess I was just thinking about that, when you quarantine, now you're kind of forced to be around your spouse. If you're not used to that, I guess that could be a problem.
I don't know. Well, I guess it's a problem because like you've never taken the time to really build up that intimacy. Like, I don't know. I felt like since we've been married, that's something that we've been working on constantly because it doesn't come easy. Like when you're a teenager, you can kind of just like get into a relationship with somebody or in your mind, what a solid relationship could be. And then y'all just, oh, yeah, hey, let's go to the movies. Let's go here. Let's go there. Let's do everything together. Because, like, I love you and I want to be with you. But as an adult, it's like you have responsibilities and it's a little bit harder. And especially when you're married, it's a little bit harder to, kind of want to be around someone that you disagree with, someone that you have a responsibility to, you have to be accountable to, such as your spouse. Like, I know there was something I had looked up a minute ago. I forget what the website was called, but these group of wives came up with different dating ideas for in the house. If you didn't have money, like you could like date your spouse, but from the house. And it was like, you could travel to different places or whatever. Like that one year for our anniversary, I turned our basement into like China.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Thanks. I mean, well, like I turned it into China, not trying to be funny with the whole like virus situation going on.
But that was way before that. So
I mean, I know, but I'm just saying, like you told me one time that you wanted to visit China. And so I was like, okay, that was one of the places that the packet has said, and they listed ideas of things you can do to kind of bring in that feel of China, into, I guess, your home or whatever. And so I was just, I don't know, that's just like one example of something that I've done in the past, but I'm trying to think of things that we've done like currently together to just kind of not feel like, we're annoying each other, but at the same time, we're still working on building our marriage.
I know. We put in our Google Calendar schedule to have like conversations a few times a week, just to kind of that we get into the habit of, I guess, talking to each other. I don't want to say talking to each other. That sounds kind of bad. Like we get into the habit of talking to each other, but no, we get into a habit of having, I guess, heartful, meaningful conversations. That's not like surface level. Because oftentimes I feel like you can oftentimes treat. I don't want to say treat, but you can have conversations with your spouse like you would a coworker or a friend, where it's just surface level. It's nothing really like deep, like fears or things that they want to accomplish. It's always surface level things like, yeah, my mom and dad going to Miami for vacation. It's like, I mean, that's cool, everything, and I'm happy for them. But what's going on with you? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I just think about that. But I did want to go back real quick when you said you were a teenager. I was thinking to myself, man, that's not love. I
I
get
knew he was gonna say something
I
about
get what
that.
you're saying, but that's not love.
It's not. But that's why I said it's without responsibility. Like you're not accountable to the person. You know what I'm saying? You go home to your mama. They going home to their parents, and it's like you think that you're in love. Like, oh yeah,
It's infatuation. That's all it is.
yeah. Like,
It's
oh,
infatuation
I
and
went with
lust.
them. I went with them on their job interview. I don't know, something. I'm just trying to think of things that teenagers would feel as though, they're so in love with their person that they're dating at the time. Like, oh, well, he called me crying because he got a D on his math test. It was so hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yo, man, to go back to those times, man. Now, you just don't want to answer the phone and like, yeah, the car broke down. Like, again.
Yeah.
What else? What else is it? So what are some things that you've thought about, I don't know, like as a couple that we could do in the house while we're
Skate.
quarantined? Oh yeah.
Skate. I mean, I think that's something that you had brought to my attention the other week when you bought some skates. And it's funny because I actually did used to go to the skate rink a lot when I was a kid, but I
Yeah, I
hadn't
did
skated
too.
over like I probably haven't skated in like 15 years. And it's funny because I was watching a video with the lady. She was doing a review on the skates that I bought. She was the only person on YouTube who did a review on the skates that I had. So, but one of the things that she said was that she was like, I'm over 30 years old, and I hadn't skated since I was like in my teenage years. I was like, wow, me too. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of refreshing to kind of hear someone say that, like, oh, you can still pick it back up after like 15, 16 years, which is, I mean, you can, but when you 17, 18 years old, you fall, you cool. At 30 years old, you might break something, knock on wood, God forbid. But just, I guess just the hobby that we got together. I guess the fact that our house has hardwood floors, because if your house don't have hardwood floors, I guess you can't really skate inside the house, with being quarantined and everything.
I mean, that in space, but you could probably, oh, well, depending on if you could get outside like to a sidewalk in front of your building, or depending on your living situation, because even if you had hardwood floors, doesn't mean that you could still do it. There was a video I seen, I meant to send it to you. There was a guy like in his closet in like this small
He was skating.
yeah, he was trying to skate in the closet. It was funny, definitely for a joke. He was like, you guys stay home, stay inside. But no, I was just thinking, when you think about it, how often do you do things that doesn't have a requirement of you? Like you do something for fun. And not to say that we live this life to have fun all the time, especially when you become an adult, when you have children. But, you just go to work and come home and you do the same thing over again, even when you have kids and you kind of put you put the kids in school and we have them on a schedule and they get probably what, an hour when they get home to like, okay, I want to talk, I want to play, I want to be loved on by you guys. And it's like, all right, I'm as tired, like go to bed, go to sleep.
Yeah.
And the second the clock turns, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, go to bed, don't get up. And then you try to have you time, and then you try to have time with your spouse, and then what? It's but now that everyone's like stuck in the house, it's kind of like we're together all the time, and pretty difficult to do, if I'm honest, like especially if y'all arguing. Like I'm not about to lay in the bed with you if we arguing. Even being around your spouse when you're angry, that could be hard. And so you want to talk about intimacy. It's not even just sex. It's just, you want to talk about having a conversation. You want to talk about even me wanting to hold your hand. Like I said, if you were to breathe in my direction, it's like, ugh, again, like why? But then those are moments that you have in time. And then other moments, it's like, I love you so much. Please don't leave. Stay here with me forever.
Yeah.
There was a couple weeks back when I was still pregnant. There was a time where I just didn't want you to leave the house because I don't know. I got really sad when you were leaving. And I guess maybe because of the anxiety that I was having gearing up, like my body was starting to send me signs and signals that labor was about to happen soon. And so I was getting really anxious every time you left the house. And every time you would come home early because work ended early or what have you, it was just kind of like, oh, what I used to say, I would be like, yay, you're home early. I've been waiting all day. I waited up. And it was kind of like that to me, that doesn't come by a lot in marriage, where it's like, oh, I'm excited that you're here. And especially for those who, like I said, are home together all the time. And, you know, like, oh, you're here again. It's like, you walking in this room again? Like, I walked down to the living room. You follow me to the living room. I walked to the kitchen. You follow me to the kitchen. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because out of everybody that we know, it's only a few couples that I can say that are actually comfortable with being around each other all the time, and I think that's mainly because of just people who are, I guess, well, in my opinion, in my observation, just veterans in marriage, and just really they're really best friends with their spouse.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
you have to develop that though.
yeah, I mean you do. I mean
You
you
have to
do.
intentionally, like, that don't come easy. You have to intentionally be okay with that. I know a lot of people whose relationship don't work when they're together a lot. It's, you know what I'm saying? Because they're not used to it. It's almost like I'm used to being your roommate, but I'm calling you my, I'm calling you my husband, I'm calling you my wife, I'm calling you my boyfriend, girlfriend. And it's like, yeah, they're back again. They're home again. I mean, I've heard people who have been married for years. I've heard that their spouse leaves the house every day to go to the store to run an errand. I mean, I've seen online where people are just like, as a joke, I've seen where people were saying you're gonna find out that your boyfriend is really married and that you're the side chick and things like that. And it's just like, that's really sad. That's really sad for some who really thought that they were developing a relationship with someone. I think it's also sad for those who are married to that person.
I mean, yeah, it's sad. I mean, I was thinking today, like, oftentimes, like, because I was watching a TV show, but oftentimes, like, I think about, like, when people, like, when you watch a TV show and you see people are married or in a relationship, you always like, oh man, if this is real life, that wouldn't work because this person is very, very guarded, or every time the spouse says something, they're always on the offense or defense. It's like, so it wouldn't work in real life. But I guess it would work in real life. I guess it would work. People would just be in a relationship where they just really wasn't feeling each other. I mean, because let's be honest. I mean, with the quarantine, you can always lie and be like, yo, I gotta work today. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like you got to be home with your spouse. But I think for those who are home with their spouse, it's just interesting to kind of imagine in what ways people are enjoying each other and enjoying their families. It's kind of bittersweet. It's bitter because people are out of work and possibly without money unless their job has a contingency plan, or their state does, to help them kind of get paid while they're out. But
or they're an essential worker.
Yeah, but it's sweet because you could be home with your family. For those who enjoy being home with your families. So I guess for a lot of people, I would say take the opportunity and cherish it. So I know a lot of guys in my field, in my industry, we're always working, including myself. Some days we work 6-7 days a week. So it's good to have that time off to be with your family. But the flip side is that when you're used to working that much, that when you are off, you actually don't know how to even function as a family man. And I know to a lot of people that may sound strange, but it's like the reality of it is that's true. Like when you spend 3 to 4 weeks a month, and it's like 4 weeks in a month. So really, I'm just saying you're probably home like 8-9 days a month, and you spend a lot of time on the road and working. I mean, it can be very difficult to actually come home and be with your family, because you're already physically away, and after a while, if you don't have a good relationship with your spouse and your children, you become even emotionally distant from them, even when you are home. That's why when our son comes home from school, I try to engage him and ask him questions, even when he wakes up. I'm like, hey, what did you dream about last night? Just because I'm trying to emotionally and psychologically like be there, because sometimes like you can be there physically but not really be there.
Yeah, I've experienced that where somebody that one of my parents was dating, like they lived with us and they were there every day for years. They were there every day. But I couldn't tell you 2 things that this person has said to me that made me go like, wow, they really like love me. They really are a part of this family. I mean, I can't even tell you what the person sound like, if I'm honest. And that's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary. This person has lived with us for years, and I couldn't even tell you I can't remember 2 words that this person has said to me, and I don't even remember. Like, if I heard their voice, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's a familiar voice. I'd be like, who that?
No. I mean, I definitely understand. Just about whoever the individual was, clearly that they were there physically, but they were not present. Just I guess from what you remember, or I guess I say a lack of remembering what they said, just proves that they wasn't there. So I guess just in these times of being quarantined, for those who are in states where where you have to be inside for whether it's 24 hours, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I guess it's just an opportunity for you and your spouse, and even you and the family in general, including your children, just to work on ways of intimacy, just how to convey your heart to one another and really hear each other's hearts. Because I feel like oftentimes, just in everyday life, we don't really make time to hear each other's hearts. So I feel like while the coronavirus, while it is a big deal, in many ways, I also feel like it's an opportunity for us from the Lord for us just to begin to work on intimacy within our own family and with our own spouse, like beginning to build that back up again and making that a priority.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking about how this is definitely a great time for us to build intimacy with our family. Like, even though it's a scary time, for some who, because it's unknown, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how long we're going to be in our homes, how long children are going to be out of school. But, the other side of the coin, if you want to say, is the Lord has given us like no other choice but to kind of sit and focus in on each other, on one another. Like when the bars are closed and, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. When the nightclubs are closed and work is closed and school is closed, you have no other choice but to face one another and to face God and to sit and just talk, Well, I've definitely enjoyed this conversation with you today, Dale.
Yeah, most definitely.
For the About This Love listeners, thank you for tuning in today. We hope that you have caught some of our other conversations. If you haven't, you can catch up on our YouTube channel at About This Love or our Facebook. Thanks again for listening.
And until next time, peace.